We should be live right now. So, hello and welcome. Yeah, actually, I can see it. Hello and welcome, everybody. What is going on? So, we're here today, me and somebody. I don't know whether anyone else will join later to just discuss whether Whole Cake Island was a good arc or a bad arc. Yeah, somebody. So, how you doing?
Yo, I'm fine.
Good to know. Yeah, because right, the topic really here, and welcome, Major, welcome. The topic really is all about Whole Cake Island because obviously the arc just finished 2 weeks ago. I think it's the second longest arc in One Piece after Dressrosa, I believe, and it ultimately kicked
I
off
think
the first.
if you put Water 7 and Annie's Lobby together, it's about as long or even longer.
All right, fair point. Yeah. That's a good question. Whether those are one arc or whether that's not an arc. Water 7 and Eni's Lobby, because for me, they've always been one arc. But yeah, really, the topic here is, was it a good arc or was it not? For the amount of chapters that it did it live up to everything it should have? Was it good in the way in everything that it set up, and then ultimately everything it resolved? I don't know. That's what we're here to discuss. For all the guys in the chat, welcome. Major, welcome. So let's start with you then. Let's start with your thoughts overall on the arc.
Well, overall, it's my second favorite arc so far. My favorite arc is Fishman Island. Very unpopular opinion.
Yep.
And this one is, I think it's just so creative. It reminded me of Sky Island, and that is my third favorite arc.
Okay.
I just loved it overall, and I don't have that much to complain about. I have one major complaint. Like, I really, really didn't like one part of the arc, but overall, it was great.
Okay, fair enough. Again, your top three is very unique, to say the least. Fishman Island, Whole Cake Island, and then Sky Pier. Most people would obviously have something like Marineford or something like Water 7 as their number one or as their top three. But for me, I don't know where Whole Cake Island ranks overall, but it's it's one of the most highly rated arcs for me, in my opinion. And now, similar to you, I have one major criticism with the arc. One major thing I didn't like how it was resolved. But overall, I thought the arc was pretty good. Overall, I really enjoyed what I got. I also thought that like the week-to-week experience, which is obviously always a lot different to like if you're reading it and you're reading it as a volume or whatnot. But I thought the week-to-week experience was also very, very good. I thought the cliffhangers as a whole were very, very good. Some of them sometimes didn't really work, but in general, I thought they worked really, really well. So what should we do next? Shall we discuss your overall thoughts, like the first part of this arc, which is pretty much them entering into Whole Cake Island and them entering into the Lost Woods, as you could say?
I think the arc started off pretty on a high note with the musical that Big Mom did. It was pretty sick, like her introduction, basically. And I thought this was a really, really good start for the arc. And then, it dipped down a bit when they went into the forest. But I think it isn't too bad. Like on a weekly basis, maybe. But if you read it in a volume, it's amazing.
Yeah, I actually really agree with you. Like, I thought the first part of obviously getting to know one of the Yonkos, Big Mom, getting to know her territory, getting to know some of the people involved, getting to know Brule, which that's a whole different discussion. A character that I think most people hated, and then by the end actually started to like. But getting to know all these different characters, all these different aspects of Whole Cake Island, and then you obviously seeing Big Mom used life or death pretty much on her son, with her having the illness as well. I thought that was all very well handled until they reached the forest, and that's pretty much once it took a little bit of a dip. But the first part of the arc, I thought, especially with like how it ended with Zoe, you know, them getting there, then meeting the Germa 66. We find out more about the Germa 66. We found out more about, you know, just the overall relationship that Vito has with the Germa, him being a fanboy. We've seen Sanji's bride. There's just a lot of good stuff that was just being set up. A lot of just good things that we just looking forward to. And I thought, especially like some of the characters that we got introduced to, I thought, some of the, it kind of sounds kind of odd, but some of the chefs I thought were just hilarious. Like some of the chefs that we got introduced to. Then obviously we got introduced to Opera, Gillette, I think her name was, and Mondor. Just three characters that, well, one character, Opera, who we didn't really get to see later on because we assume he's dead. But like another one, like Mondor, who was just very, very prominent throughout the whole arc. Same as Perospero, really, who in my opinion was one of my favorite characters off the arc. I just thought he was absolutely brilliant. So I thought overall the beginning just worked really, really well. But then, as you mentioned, we get to the middle part, and I think we both have similar opinions. I don't know, but what do you thought about the middle part?
The middle part, do you mean cracker fight, or do you mean like the wedding itself?
Let's just go with the forest. So from the beginning of the cracker fight all the way until the beginning of the wedding. That's okay, the beginning, middle part.
Cracker at first didn't really interest me. Well, he had a high bounty, but his design looked weird, and I thought, oh yeah, I don't know what I think of him. But once Luffy turned Gear 4th, the fat version, it started getting really funny. Although it was a bit too quick, the end of the fight. I think he could have put in one more chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the whole stuff with the Windsmoke started. The backstory of Sanji, right?
Yeah.
After Cracker, or while Luffy was fighting Cracker, and yeah, well, Sanji isn't really one of my favorites, so I didn't care much about him and his backstory. So yeah, it was whatever. It was fine, but not really great or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like Cracker right from the beginning. I think it was the bounty. For me, the second I saw his bounty, I was like, okay, we've got Cracker here right now. We've got so many big. But I just didn't like the way the fight was handled. I thought like the first chapter, when like we see Luffy go Gear 2nd, not enough. Gear 3rd, not enough. Then he ultimately goes Gear 4th. He starts to overwhelm Cracker a little bit, but then we actually get to see that there was a real Cracker hiding inside the Biscuit soldiers. That's when I thought, okay, this is going to be an epic fight. And then we just skip away from that for like a good 5, 6, 7 chapters. We get to the Sanji stuff. And then by the time we return to the Cracker fight, I was like, I don't even care anymore. That's just the way I felt about it at that point. I
love how Oda always skips parts of fights, because you can just imagine in those portions that were skipped what happened all the time. There, like, your imagination plays basically a big role in this. And when like 11 hours or something were skipped, I just imagined how this fight went on for the whole time, and in my imagination, it was just epic.
That's the issue, though. In my opinion, like it's too much is left up to the imagination. Now, when we came back, we obviously found out that Nami was a big part of it and whatnot. But again, 11 hours dodging somebody for 11 hours. That's a bit much. That's a bit much, I feel like. Now you could say that obviously Luffy getting to use Gear 4th and then going out of Gear 4th, then Nami helping him stall time and whatnot, that helped him develop and helped him prolong his Gear 4th state. So ultimately later on when he fought against Katakuri, he was more proficient with it. But I thought like even if we just got like 1 or 2 pages, like, you know, during the chapters that we had Sanji stuff going on, I thought that would have been much better in my personal opinion. An 11-hour jump was just a little bit too much. But yeah, like I said, the Cracker fight, I started to really, really like. I liked him straight away from the beginning because I thought, oh, okay, you know, he's got such a high bounty. This is going to be a massive challenge. Then we kind of skipped it a little bit, went over the Sanji. So I like the Sanji stuff as well. You know, his flashback, his whole relationship with his family. I thought that was all very well executed, very well handled. I thought overall it was very fun. Or sad, same thing really. But then we get back to like the Cracker fight, and at that point I'm just like, I don't even care about this anymore. And Luffy transforms to his new Gear 4 state, and Tankman is, in my opinion, the most disappointing Gear 4 form.
I think it's that chapter with Tankman is probably the funniest chapter in Whole Cake Island. Maybe next to the Katakuri face reveal. Interesting.
Because I
love funny
fights. Funny. I just found that sad.
I laughed a lot when well, maybe it was just funny because he's fat.
Well, that's a good reason. I don't know. I did not like that reveal at all. Personally, I just felt like, why? Like he's never gonna use that form. Like, how often is he gonna use that form in a different fight? Like, how often do you have to go defensive? Because nobody else, like, if you go into a defensive form, how many times are people gonna attack you? If that makes sense. Cracker, obviously, after an 11-hour fight, he got, you know, he was like, I just want this fight to be over and whatnot. He got restless. He hesitated. He then went for the attack instead of being like, there's nothing you can actually do to attack me in this form. This is a purely defensive form. So just from that standpoint, I was like, he's not ever going to use... I don't see him against, say, Kaido, for example. You know, Kaido about to, like, charge up an attack that takes a good 5 minutes to charge up, like a King's Punch or something, and Luffy being like, you know what? Time to go into Tank Man. I just don't see the use for it. Whereas
the problem with the fight was that Cracker, he was just stupid at the end.
Exactly. And it was just like, it was just kind of a sad ending to the fight. Because if you figured if you're fighting for 11 hours, right? And like nobody's really gotten the upper hand. Like, you know that he needs someone else, Nami in this case, to help you to actually stall time. Then you wouldn't really, like, honestly, would you in a Cracker situation, would you just be like, you know what, I'm going to attack. I don't know what this new form does, but I'm going to attack.
You can argue he was running out of patience, but, well, that's about it.
Yeah, I guess that's
He's running out of stamina too.
That's a good question. Because in the anime, again, anime isn't really facts or anything. But in the anime, all he has to do to create Cracker soldiers, literally just clap his hands, which is just... It seemed that way in manga as well, but that's just... I don't know what that requires stamina. And besides the general fighting, I don't know how much stamina are really required. But overall, I thought Cracker, if I had to rate Cracker, I'd probably give him a 6.5 out of 10 as a villain.
As a villain, yeah. Well, was he really a villain?
You could argue that, you know, Luffy is the villain here. They were having a tea party, and Luffy just said, yeah, how are you doing? Let me destroy it. Tries to assassinate Big Mom, who's never done anything against him. You know, just saying. But yeah, I think that was pretty much a big negative. It wasn't my biggest negative off the arc, but that was a pretty big negative. And then we get to, I think, I don't know whether you would agree, the best part of this arc, which was the wedding.
Yes, my favorite part of the arc was actually the flashback of Big Mom.
Okay.
I think that chapter, it was 867, I think. Happy Birthday, was even better than the latest chapter.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. Any reason why in particular?
I just loved the whole build-up, and in the end, you find out that she ate all of the kids and Mother Carmel, and it just confirmed so many things at once with one reveal.
All right, here's a theory then. And I think a lot of people, after seeing the Happy Birthday chapter, thought of Blackbeard and Whitebeard. Do you think, like, under that cloak, he ate Whitebeard's heart or something? Because I've seen a lot of people say that that's what he did to get the second devil
Exactly,
fruit.
it's possible. I don't necessarily think that's the case. Maybe he did something else, but it's a possibility.
Okay. Yeah, the tea party, I just thought awesome. We got introduced to Katakuri, somebody you can see the future. Straight away, the first time I saw Katakuri, I was like, okay, one of my favorite characters straight away. Just design wise, I thought he just looked awesome. Oda usually design wise just like has a little bit of funky, has a little bit epic. But like Katakuri was just straight up epic throughout the whole thing. Obviously, at that point, we didn't get to see his face, but at that point, he just looked epic. Straight off, being able to see the future, that alone for me made him hype. The biggest bounty that we saw in this series, I was just looking forward to seeing what he could do. And then we get to the tea party, Jinbei with this whole spiel of like, putting the cup down, and then you see Brook just destroying the picture frame. It was all just great fun, to be totally honest. Just all great fun. And it just all was like edge of the seat kind of stuff. So it was just like, yeah, I want to see what happens next week. Then when we got a break, I was like, why do we need to get a break now? Whereas usually I'm just like, okay, you know what? A break, that's fair. Needs a break. That's how it is. But at that point, I was like, I don't want a break. Like, it just felt so good. Yeah, I really, about the whole wedding cake, I did not think there was, like, during the tea party, I didn't think there was a single bad chapter.
I didn't like the part with Jinbei that much, but it had the cliffhanger with Brook smashing the picture, so that was great.
How do you feel about Brook? Because I just saw Tausif mention in the comment section that the MVP of this arc was Brook.
He is.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Brook, without Brook, Whole Cake Island would have been a failure. Like, no Mother Caramel, no Poneglyph. What more do you need? What more could you possibly want from
Brook? Shot up in my favorite characters. He's probably my favorite Straw Hat.
Oh wow! Oh wow! That's what's your current for Straw Hats then? Top 5?
Oh, I don't know. The thing is, with the Straw Hats, I don't like them as much as most villains.
Okay, I actually kind of agree with you on that one, a little bit. My 2 favorite characters are Akainu and Blackbeard, so villains. But in terms of Straw, my favorite character used to be Zoro, but since the post time skip, he's just not really done anything. He's not really had anything to do. He's just been one-shotting people, and so for me, he's dropped ever since then. But yeah,
my favorites are, I think, Brook, Luffy, and maybe Chopper. I don't know.
Chopper, that's interesting. People either hate Chopper or really, really love Chopper. I have never seen anything about Chopper that I liked at all. Like, his introduction was good, but then just nothing. Just nothing. MVP was Pedro. He even managed to survive. Well, I guess that kind of leads into the next section, because Ryan J just wrote that MVP was Pedro. He even managed to survive that massive explosion. Did he survive?
No, he didn't.
Okay, so you don't think this is a Pell 2.0?
He died. He's dead. Over.
Okay, so if we see Pedro in the future, would that drop Whole Cake Island for you?
Not really. I think Pedro wasn't that much of an interesting character anyway, so his death was kind of, whatever, and didn't really feel impactful, or, I don't know. It was just, he died, and that's it.
Everyone's saying Pell 2.0 and whatnot, but I'll be honest here, right? I feel especially with Pedro, I actually liked him as a character, because for me he was just pretty cool. He just looked pretty cool. For me, if you look pretty cool, I already like you as a character. It doesn't matter what your personality is. I'm a looks over personality kind of person. But it just, it was just out of nowhere. The second half of in the second half of Whole Cake Island, it was just really out of nowhere. From the beginning of from the end of the wedding cake, the end of the tea party until, let's say, until he blew himself up. I was just, to me, it was just like, I like him. We get to see all these awesome Big Mom characters. You know, we get to see Perospero do his thing. And then he blows himself up. And how much did that really do in the grand scheme of things? Like, it got the Straw Hats out of the situation. But then, like, a chapter later, they were back to being attacked by Big Mom and Barnes again.
Yeah, I think his death was necessary just to elevate the sense of danger.
The funniest part of the whole death, right? I'll be totally honest here. The funniest part of the whole death was when like Carrot, she's like about to like just be like angry and everything, going up to Katakuri. She's like, I'm gonna avenge Pedro, and then Katakuri just stamps on her like, get out of my way. I'm here for Luffy. That was the best part. That was the best part of Whole Cake Island, I'll be totally honest. I love that part so much. But we have to talk about one major thing, in my opinion. And that was my biggest criticism of Whole Cake Island. And that was the whole Sanji, the whole Reiju, and the whole Barati situation. The fact that the Barati was just, well, we're not going to attack them. That's it. Like that whole threat of like Zeph is going to be killed. You know, Judge showing the picture of Zeph, like, we're gonna. Is this the guy that, you know, if you wanna, I don't know, you want us to kill or whatever? I thought I was just like, so, and then Ray just like, yeah, don't worry about it. The handcuffs fake. Zeph, we're not gonna do anything. It's just, what was the point of break?
But we don't know if anything will happen to Zeph.
Do you think something will happen to Zeph?
Yeah.
Interesting, but
I mean, Big Mom is really, really pissed off right now, and Zeph is technically still in danger.
Okay. Huh. I mean, I don't know. For me, the whole thing, the way it was resolved was just like, doesn't matter. He's not going to be hurt. Now go home. That's literally the way it was. Just within a matter of like 2 chapters, all the stakes that were there about, oh, Sanji's hands are going to be blown off. I mean, I figured that, to be totally honest, I figured they were fake. Because there was one chapter where Reiju put her hand on the handcuff, and I was like, did she just do something to it or something? It turns out to be fake, especially after getting the flashback of Sanji. It makes sense. But the Zeph situation was just like, why?
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Luffy say to Sanji that they worry about Zeph later, like when they get out of there?
If that was the case, I honestly don't remember, to be totally honest. But yeah, if what you're saying is right, and if something's gonna happen to Zeph later on, I will say, okay, you know, that my major negative of the arc will be just gone. But that is my biggest negative of the arc, the way that was just resolved. But there was another negative, not a big one, just a negative, and that's towards the end of the tea party, all the way until Pedro blows himself off. The whole chase between Luffy and Big Mom, the whole chase between the Straw Hats and Big Mom. Now, obviously, we're just talking about the specific part right now, but you know, throughout the whole arc, she chases the Straw Hats. And do you think that chase? Because I think that's pretty much the biggest negative for most people. The chase between the Straw Hat Pirates and Big Mom went on for too long.
I don't think it went on for too long, but that part has my least favorite part of the arc, definitely. What I said earlier, there's one thing I really, really disliked. Even though it's just a small thing, it was that Nami still has Big Mom's Fiverr card. Like
okay.
Half of it, at least. That just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, true. Just, again, out of nowhere.
Like, I checked the previous chapters if there's any foreshadowing or anything. Like, nothing. It just, yeah, oh, actually, I still have half of the Fiverr card.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that's actually right. That was just out of nowhere. That just happened. Like, yeah, well, okay, I've got it. Which she could have actually used more. Now that I think about it, because considering, there were so many homies and whatnot chasing her, and you even had Prometheus, Zeus. Napoleon, you had the ship as well. I don't know whether that would actually do something against them, considering those are like special homies. But she could have used that Vivre card a lot more to control them.
Yeah, I don't think that the Vivre card works against Big Mom's own soul.
Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. Fair enough. I do still think though, now that I think about it, them having the Vivre card, that could allow them to just get back. Like later on, if they find out Jinbei is dead, or the thing are dead, the German 66 are dead, then they could always just like take the Vivre card and head over to Whole Cake Island again, which I don't know what people would like. Return to Whole Cake Island.
I don't think we'll ever return to Whole Cake Island. Rather, I think Big Mom will show up somewhere else. Like, she's really enraged right now.
Okay. So, well, we'll get to it because I know exactly where you're going with this because you mentioned this already. But we'll get into it in a second. Let's talk about like the ending now of Whole Cake Island. So, starting from like the Luffy fight, the Luffy going into the mirror world to fight against Katakuri, all the way until the end of the Katakuri fight. So like. Not just the fight not just the fight in itself, but at the beginning of the fight until the end of the fight, with like all the things that were happening in between, with like the baking of the cake, the Straw Hats, specifically Nami, Chopper, carried. I mean, she's kind of a Straw Hat at this point, and Brooke just managing to evade Big Mom and Smoothie and all of them for so long. How did you like that section?
Well, yeah, the chase was a bit stretched at that part, but I think Oda was just trying to line everything up so that in the end it works all out, so that everyone is in the right position, I guess. Yeah, the fight itself, Katakuri versus Luffy, was definitely my favorite fight in the series.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Luffy versus Lucci. Ouch. So I didn't care about that. Katakuri was an actual cool character. Mm-hmm. And the best part of the fight was his face reveal.
Okay.
Okay. Because it was funny.
All right. Yeah, I think I agree with you for the most part. The whole chase sequence was, for me, my personal opinion, like a good 20, 30, not 20, 30 chapters, but it just felt like it was like a good 20 chapters of just the same thing over and over and over again, like a little bit here, this, a little bit here, that. But besides that, you had Big Mom with like, just her tongue sticking out, like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. And then like the Straws do one thing, then they get away, and then like the next chapter we get another one of Big Mom, like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. And then
the Big Mom panels were all awesome. He was furious, but yeah, there were a few repetitive cliffhangers.
Yeah, there was this one. I remember this one panel of Sanji, just like he's just about to cook the cake or whatever, bake the cake or whatever, and they like the same. Oda used the exact same Sanji panel for like 2 chapter cliffhangers, which was just kind of hilarious. But okay, you know what? Let's talk about the best part of the chase sequence then. Considering we both in general didn't like the chase sequence, what in your opinion was the best part of the chase sequence?
The best part, I have to think. Maybe Brooke saying to Big Mom, "May I see your panties?" And yeah, saying Zeus.
I think
when Big Mom jumped onto the ship, onto the Sunny.
Yeah.
that's definitely the best part. And until she got off of it, and well, that's when I think when Brooke also said to her, "May I see your panties?"
Yeah. Yeah, I think I actually agree with you for the most part.
And the Sunny was really in danger. Like she just jumped onto there and ripped it apart. That was pretty scary, actually.
Did you think that the Shrouds, that is Sunny in this arc, by the end of this, did you at any point during this arc think that the Sunny would get destroyed?
Yeah, at chapter 900, I think it was a possibility. If the Sunny is actually destroyed and they show up at Wano without the Sunny, and Frankie obviously will be innerly destroyed, but then they would have to go to Elbaf to collect some more Adam wood. That was so my headcanon about it.
Okay. Yeah, I think 900 on the chapter that Big Mom jumped on the ship. That was that was the best part of it for me personally. That was the best part of the chase sequence. Big Mom jumping onto the ship and being like, "Here I am." Or what are you gonna do now? But then, like the next chapter was one of the worst parts of the thing when the Strahds. I mean, Big Mom at that point was heavily nerfed, and I understand that. But like them just being able, like Jinbei, just like 5,000 tile breakfast and just hurting Big Mom, pushing her off. To me, that was just a bit too much. I mean,
the thing is, Big Mom wasn't really trying to do anything against the Straw Hats, but she was just actively looking for the cake. I think if she really wanted to kill everyone on the ship, she could have done so.
See, I don't think she could have. I think she was nerfed that much to the point where Jinbei put Jinbei, Brooke, and like with Nami, and I think like they could actually have a chance of defeating Big Mom at that point.
Nah, I don't think so. But do you think Jinbei couldn't do that to any other Yonko if they are kind of off guard?
No, absolutely not. Kaido was drinking.
I mean, Big Mom wasn't hurt by it. She was just pushed back.
Yeah, fair enough. But I don't know. That chapter was ridiculous, in my opinion. Brooke, like, just speed blitzing her in the air. Jinbei using his 5,000 tile brick fist. And like, to me, that was just too much. Like, any other young, as I mentioned, any other Yonko, I don't see any other Yonko getting pushed back at all. Like, you put Jinbei up against, like, a heavily nerfed Kaido. Kaido would just look at him like, what are you trying to do? what's your end game here?
Why you only one by Squado? Isn't that kind of the same?
Okay. I'm not allowing. I'm not letting.
I think Jinbei is stronger than Squado.
Yes, but okay, all right, okay, I can't give you that one. Damn it. Although I will also counter saying that Whitebeard, he had durability, whereas Big Mom just has invulnerability. Yeah, so normally she is an iron balloon, which I think is the same thing for Kaido. But yeah, okay, I will give you that one. Yeah,
Big Mom doesn't even have to worry about any injuries. She just doesn't get injured.
Yeah. I want to discuss about that later on, about her being the quote-unquote iron balloon and the whole plan for the tea pie, because that whole plan, to be totally honest, did you ever think at any point, did you think that plan was going to work?
No, they explained the plan, so it isn't going to work.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't think anyone ever thought the plan was going to. Everyone thought like there's going to be something that messes up,
especially if Luffy is involved.
Exactly. Like he had a good idea as well. Get all your animals and whatnot to transform into you. And then when Big Mom didn't know who was the real Luffy, and she asked, "Who is the real Luffy?" He's like, "It's me. I'm over here. Hi, how are you doing?" Oh, Luffy never changed at all. But yeah, overall, the Katakuri fight, I'm not like you. I loved the Lucci fight. just my favorite fight. But I feel like the Katakuri fight was the best. I don't want to say drawn, not the best drawn fight, but the best fight sequence, if that makes sense. Especially at one chapter where it's just the full Luffy going into Gear 4, Snake Man. Just that whole chapter where like it was just all fights, but like all just like different fight sequence. I thought that was just the best fight in One Piece. In my opinion.
A lot of people criticize how it ended. Like that there wasn't really an impact, like last clash kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think it was great. Like I don't really need a last big impact clash, whatever. At the end, we saw a very big panel, and we saw the clash in there, which was kind of small in the panel. We just saw it from above, and I think that was enough. And it looked really cool.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you then. I wanted a big clash. I wanted not even a big clash. I just wanted to see the final hit, really. Because at the end, all we saw really was like Luffy's fist here, and like Katakuri's mochi just above him. And to this day, people are still debating: did Katakuri hit him? Did Luffy actually hit him, or did they just fall short?
Well, we saw the hits. We saw them. It was just very small on a huge panel.
That I don't know. That I like the classic finishes.
It was a double spread, and on the right side we saw the clash, which was the biggest panel on there, and then on the left side we saw how they pulled back their attacks.
Yeah. I still have to say I wish we would have seen a better end to the fight. Not my favorite ending to a fight is probably the Lucci fight. Although I see some people say Crocodile was far better in that regard. The Crocodile, I like the fight so much. The Crocodile fight, although it was more so, it really felt like the Cracker fight, Crocodile, just like 3 different situations. But I don't know, Katakuri, I like the fight as a whole. My favorite fight of the whole series. My favorite choreography, my favorite battle sequence of the whole thing. I just think the fight left us with more questions than answers, and usually you'd get more answers in a fight than questions, if that makes sense. Like, to this day, let me put this question to you then. Do you think Luffy, in a one-on-one fight with no flambe, no Luffy running away from the mirror world, none of that, do you think Luffy could actually beat Katakuri?
No, I don't think so.
There you go. And I feel like the fight just, again, left just more questions than answers. Like with the Doflamingo one, you could say, okay, Luffy in Gear 4 overwhelmed Doflamingo. Would he beat Doflamingo in a one-on-one fight? Probably not. But with Gear 4, he could tip the scales into his favor. With the Katakuri fight, I thought the whole time Katakuri was superior. Even when Luffy went into his Snake Man form, I thought Katakuri was still superior. Or they were equal, I should say, equal/superior. So just, I don't know. To me, it just left too many questions.
I think right now, like with Luffy's improved observation haki, he can at least put up a very good fight with Katakuri now. But I think in the end, Katakuri would still win. But I think Luffy is definitely above Cracker now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't understand why Luffy. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't understand why Luffy didn't use Snake Man against Cracker. Because Snake Man, he'd be able to hit Cracker from unexpected places, and he knew that Cracker was weak to attacks. So if Cracker had like 10 soldiers right in front of him, Snake Man could have just gone right past them all and hit Cracker that way. If that makes sense.
I guess so.
I don't know. I don't know. There's just. Let me ask you a different question then. How many forms do you think Luffy has of Gear 4?
I think the 3 forms he has right now, that's all of them, I guess.
Okay.
Since I think, Tank Man is a tank. And Snake Man is kind of a speed form, and the Bound Man is like an overall, like, yeah, it's good at both, but not the best.
Okay.
Like a hybrid.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people say that, and I actually have to agree with them. Well, actually, no, I disagree with them. That Bound Man is the quote unquote power form, not so much the balanced form. And then Gear 5th, sorry, would be like the balanced form, which is just too far away in the future for me to actually predict if he has a Gear 5th or not. But yeah, overall, the whole Katakuri situation I thought was just good. I thought it was great. Could have been even better if we didn't skip back and forth so much at the beginning of the fight. Now, towards the end of the fight, I was like, awesome. But especially at the beginning of the fight, we had like 1 or 2 chapters, and then we switched over to like the chase sequence and the cake sequence. I was like, I want to see more of the fight.
Again, I loved how Oda skipped parts of the fight.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. I hate when he skips fights. You love when he skips fights.
I mean, the parts he skips, they are not really important. They are just parts that, yeah, where whatever happens, they just punch each other or whatever, or maybe Luffy runs away the whole time. It's just not interesting to show.
Okay. I like seeing Luffy getting hit. I want to see Luffy bleed and whatnot.
We did see him bleed a lot.
Too much. And he still walked away like, yep, how you guys doing? I'm good. Got stabbed in the chest. And he's like, yep, no issue. No issue at all. And something that we didn't bring up, actually, now that I think about it, the Empress of the Underground. Do you think they were wasted?
What?
The Emperor of the Underground, like all of the thing that we saw from the Underground and during Tea Party, such as Stussy, Morgans, all of them. Like they got such a massive introduction and whatnot, and then we never, besides Morgans and Stussy and Drug Peklo, was it Drug Peklo, the fat guy? We never really got to see any of them anymore.
Was another one. Drug Peklo didn't do anything, I think. He wasn't even shown anymore after the introduction.
That's the thing. Like all of them introduced, and then we didn't really get to we didn't get anything from them at all.
Yeah, I think Oda just wanted to introduce some of the underground emperors and save them up for later. If you've seen Joyboy Theory's video about them, he analyzed their appearance and their names. And, well, like Drag Pekalo might be, for example, a bounty hunter, like the biggest bounty hunter in the world. That would be very interesting if he shows up later to bounty hunt Luffy.
Well, it's a big bounty. That's a big bounty. That's actually a good thing. I wish we get more bounty hunters in the show, like actual strong bounty hunters. The only one that we got was a filler character that Oda wanted to include in the story, which was Daddy Masterson. That's really it. Besides that, there is no real bounty hunter in the show that could go one-on-one versus, say, someone like Cracker. Anyway, then we move on to like the last part of the arc of Whole Cake Island, which was basically from the point that Luffy leaves the Mirror World to the point where they leave Whole Cake Island. Now, the first thing that happened really was we got to say, what's his name now? Mystriums. No, that's a thing. The guy that came up with like the mask on after the Katakuri fight. I forgot his name right now. Gao, the Peckham's. Yeah, and just like him, just out of nowhere, really showed up in the Mirror World. That didn't make sense to me how he just showed up in the Mirror World. Okay, then he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go Sulong form." Goes Sulong form for one panel, and just gets held down the next panel, just absolutely destroyed. And then Sanji coming in, the Vin Smokes coming in, and then the Fishman pirates coming in. And Jimmy then going back for his crew to the fisherman pirate to try and get them out of it, and then Big Mom eating the cake, and Big Mom just doing a life or death on everyone, and that's the last we saw of them, and that's the end of Whole Cake Island.
Before Peckham's was shown in the mirror world, I think he was on Whole Cake Island, right?
We saw him with Mont d'Or and Viscount Chick, Baron Tamagon.
And I think all of them were on Whole Cake Island.
I think so, yeah.
And in the Seducing Woods, I think there is an entrance for the mirror world.
The house, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Peckham's could have gone into the mirror world through that house.
Mm-hmm. That's fair enough.
And I really, really liked it when Peckham's went out there and transformed and got destroyed immediately. It was just like when Mondor says, like, even if Goldie Roger himself comes out there, he wouldn't stand a chance, then, well, it wouldn't make any sense for Peckham's to be able to do something.
I'm going to say this, Joe. If Goldie Roger came out of that mirror world, he would use Haki and everyone would be down and he'd just walk away. So, no, Mondor hyping everyone up. But I feel like it's almost like a theme of the whole arc, where you see characters, they do something for like one chapter or one panel, and they just absolutely get destroyed. I think the Windsmokes are a very good example of that. Yeah, but what do you think of like the whole ending sequence with like the Windsmokes, the Fisherman Pirates, and then obviously the Strahds? Well, Jinbei staying back and the Strahds just leaving.
I didn't really like that Jinbei stayed back, but, well, like, just because I wanted him to be on the ship now. But, well, if he wants to sacrifice himself, why not? The Fishmen, yeah, we expected that they'll show up again, so it was just, yeah, whatever. And Windsmokes, the same, kinda. Just one thing I don't know, where's Caesar? Like, I expected Caesar to show up again, but he never did.
Yeah, good point. The guy just left. Just flew out and just said bye. Will we ever get to see Caesar again? Or do you think we'll ever get to see him again in the story? I feel like we almost have to.
Well, where can he go? I don't think he has any place to go.
Do you think that he would go to Kaido?
Why? Why would he do that?
Instead of dealing with Doflamingo and Doflamingo dealing with Kaido, he deals with Kaido directly.
I don't think he wants to have to do anything with a Yonko anymore. He just wants to
live. That's a good point. I think Amruf just brought up this point, which is a very good point. What was the point of Sanji rescuing his family and then leaving them to escape? That was the reason Sanji stayed for the wedding.
Yeah, the point was that in the wedding, they didn't do that on their own will. Now, at the end of the arc, they stayed there to protect Sanji and, well, the Straw Hats, and they did that on their own will. And on the wedding, it was an ambush.
Fair point. To me, it was still wonky. It's the same thing for like, we came here to save Sanji, and then Jinbei just stayed. Like, yeah, Jinbei, have fun dying, bro. Peace out. Now the thing is, for me, Jinbei, he's gonna get away. Actually, no, I don't think he got away. For me, he would have had the best chance of getting away because they are fishermen. They can go underwater. Nobody can catch them underwater. So that's what I think they would have or should have done. But considering the latest chapter and what we've got, Big Mom just like, whatever, I feel like they might actually all be dead, which would be something.
With Big Mom's reaction, she said, when exactly did I lose? I think that implies that she did something at the end.
Yeah. Overall, right, considering we pretty much talked about like the arc as a whole, what are your thoughts on Big Mom? Like, what were your thoughts before going into Whole Cake Island, and what are your thoughts now after Whole Cake Island about Big Mom?
Before Whole Cake Island, I didn't really care about Big Mom at all. Now she's my second favorite character in the series. So
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I really liked her character.
Ah,
That's mainly due to her flashback was just amazing. Like the natural born destroyer aspect of her.
okay.
And her illness, and she just has so many layers to her. I think she's one of the most interesting characters in the series.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Going into Whole Cake Island, I thought she was just to quote a phrase. I thought she was just a freak of nature. But like, I don't know. I feel like they almost nerfed her too much. For me, like that one chapter, it's just really that one chapter that sticks out. Where like Jinbei was like, yeah, a 5,000 tile brick fist, and just like pushed her off the whole thing. After all the build-up that we got from her, like, oh, as a child, like nothing could touch her. You know, as an adult, nothing could touch her. As a teenager, she was like what, 7 years old or whatnot when she had like a 500 million bounty, whatnot. I thought it was just like, bruh. Then it's too much, just too much. And then like Jim is like, yeah. And I thought that was just no. That was just, for me, strength or hype relates to a character. Now her character, what we call it, her character development, not even development, but like just her character exploration was good. I thought like the whole backstory of her was very good. You know, her happiest day ultimately being also the day that she thought she was abandoned as well. I thought that was very good. And overall, the whole theme of the arc was very good, especially in relation to Big Mom. But I thought the whole chase sequence and just that whole aspect just made her lose so much respect and just so much credibility for me that, to me, while she's at the beginning of the arc, she was like, she was okay, she was all right. She was like, all right, my fourth least favorite Yonko just doesn't really say much considering the other four Yonkos are Blackbeard, Shanks, and obviously Kaido, so it's natural for her to be fourth. But I was like, okay, you know what? Fourth favorite, you at the bottom of the Yonko list. And then like towards like the middle part of the arc, I was like, all right, third favorite Yonko, just surpassing Shanks. And as you know, I like Kaido more than Shanks. So we get to see Shanks like once in the whole series and whatnot. We get to see Kaido once in the whole series, but just that one aspect of Kaido that we saw just had a much bigger impact for me. So Kaido over Shanks. And like she slowly is like starting to just go up the Yonko tier ranking for me. And then like the whole aspect of her just chasing the straw, I was like, back to the bottom you go. Back to the bottom you go. So that's just my thought on like Big Mom. What about like the other characters? Because I don't think we can really point out one character because we've got to introduce like a good, I feel like a good 100 characters in this arc alone. Who were your standout characters and who were the characters that you just thought were absolutely wasted?
Wasted. Okay.
Smoothie.
I don't think Smoothie was wasted. She will probably play a big role in the future.
Okay.
Who was a wasted character? I don't know.
Well, who was a good character then? Let's start with the good.
Katakuri. We all know that. Okay. Maybe Cracker. Like, he was just there for that one fight, and he didn't really have any impact on anything. It was just that fight.
Okay.
And after it was done, yeah, well, he's gone.
Okay. You know what? My personal highlight, I think, was Capone. Like before going into Whole Cake Islands, like, all right, Capone, whatever.
Capone was an idiot, though.
You think?
His plan was stupid.
He is the only with an actual plan. Nobody else.
Yeah, but he actually thought that it would work against the Yonko.
Well, all right. If they didn't mention the plan, I would have thought it would work as well. Probably. Actually, no.
And the thing is, Beige knew about Katakuri's future side.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Required 5 seconds that Katakuri can actually see.
Yeah, that's true. To be totally honest, like if there's somebody who can see the future, you just go home. Like you just forget about the planet. And you just go home. There's no point at that point anymore. I see some other people say. I see some other people like mention a few characters and whatnot that they thought really stood out. Oven.
Yeah, Oven was great.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that as well. Much better than his brother Daifuku. So I thought his brother was going to have a much bigger role.
Kind of, I don't know. He didn't really do anything.
Exactly. There's so many characters that I've just wanted to see more. And Amrov mentions that obviously a lot of these characters will get like much bigger spotlight later on, perhaps like during a second confrontation with Big Mom or whatever. And I do agree with that, but I just still wanted to see more from certain characters. Like Compote, for example, for me, wasted character.
Can she even fight?
Hey, that's the thing. That's the thing. You would expect it to be able to fight, considering all the Big Mom pirates can fight in one way or another.
Chiffon?
Okay. But all the Big Mom pirates who are old, all right? You like Perospero, Karakuri, all of them that are like from the OG, the very first generation. All of them can fight. Judge, another character mentioned. Do you think Judge was a good character or a bad character?
Judge was a meh character.
Okay. Were you hoping for more from the Germa?
Kind of, yeah. Like, okay, it's cool that there are these science guys, but I think, well, that's kind of their theme. But they lack personality, of course.
Yeah.
But that makes them just not that good, in my opinion.
I have to absolutely like Germa for me, even more so than Smoothie, were the biggest wasted potential because them being siblings or family to Sanji. That was such an interesting aspect. Like that was the first time we really got like a straw at meeting their family and whatnot in present current time, not flashback. And just I don't know, like the whole aspect of like, yeah, we used to work with Vegapunk and whatnot, and like I know Vegapunk, yeah, we are the science thing. We've got all these soldiers who never miss a single day of training. You never even got to see the soldiers do anything. Like in the final battle where like the whole Germa 66 versus the Big Mom Pirates, the soldiers didn't do anything. They didn't even get a single panel of just a panel of them just holding a sword or something. It was nothing like that.
If anything, Big Mom now has their souls.
Exactly. Bigger army for her as well. It just there was just so much that was just wasted potential for me. Morgans, another character that was mentioned. I like Morgans.
Best bird.
Exactly. The best bird in the show. The whole aspect of like, yeah, this is the guy that runs the newspaper. Awesome. Like I think most people never even thought about news coup. Okay, that's that. But like, to actually find out a bird runs the thing. Is he a mink? Mink are usually mammals. Yep. So
minks have fur. Yeah. I think there's another race just like minks, just with feather people.
Okay. So you don't think this is a devil fruit then, for example?
No, I don't think so. Okay. And maybe the guy from the Revolutionaries is part of the bird people too.
The like, crow person, you mean?
Ravens.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah. Capone is a gangster and makes plans accordingly. Snack. The legend that is Snack. Was he wasted or was he the best character on Whole Cake Island?
Snack was the best by far.
Yeah. His confrontation with Judge was legendary. one panel, and then next panel he's not even there anymore. Just awesome.
So much for Uru's feats.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? We'll get to that in a second. I will get to that in a second. Mr. X, Wadatsumi. Nick keeps talking about Wadatsumi being the MVP of this arc. What are your thoughts on that? The legend, Wadatsumi, the giant monk. Was he good character? Was he the MVP?
Wadatsumi is kind of a, I don't know, he's just there.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Just, all right.
Like,
here he is.
This moment in the arc, I think, Oda maybe could have spent those panels on something better.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, Wadatsumi has the same status as Pound. Who
I really liked Pound.
You really like Pound? Great. I think for me, he had only one good moment. Where like he's putting his tie on and whatnot, and like you just see Oven behind him with the glaive, like yeah, that was like the one good moment he had.
I actually teared up at that moment.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Like with Badger's child Pez, I think.
Yep.
He knew that Pound was his grandfather.
Yeah.
The others didn't know.
So same question I asked you before with Pedro. Do you think Pound is dead? Are we gonna see a cover story of Pound just like sailing to the reverie or something?
We might see him in a cover story.
Okay.
But I think he's 70% dead.
Okay. That's the thing. Any other show, you'd normally say, okay, 100% dead. One Piece ever since the Falcon, Pell, and Mr. Free. For me, nobody ever dies unless I see a coffin. I will see a grave. Everyone else lives. So even though the fact that we saw Oven just like a few panels later, and he's like, yeah, all right, I'm here now. You normally expect, okay, he's probably killed him. But you never know. You never know. That's the issue. Oh, wow. Some people say at least Pound made Oven look cooler, which I have to agree with. I like Oven. For me, one of the MVPs of this arc. Alongside Perospero. I really, really liked Perospero. For me, he was just awesome. Just an awesome character.
Perospero was cool. I think maybe he should have been a Sweet Commander instead of Cracker.
Yeah, yeah. I'll ask you this then, right? It's a bit of a different question, but because for me personally, right, Perospero has the best devil fruit control of anyone in the series. Now, Doflamingo for me is a close second, and Luffy a close third. But in terms of like devil fruit control, where does Perospero rank? Because he can literally create a staircase elevator. He creates a whole.
Do that too.
What?
Cracker can do that too. Out of crackers.
Well, but all right, but he can also create a whole factory with his devil fruit. They're like his devil fruit, just his versatility, but also his utility has just been absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion. So, for me, he's got the best devil fruit control besides maybe Doflamingo. Who Doflamingo is just insane. Let's be totally honest here. Like Doflamingo creates like copies of himself, birdcage. Not even an admiral can get past.
Stitched his organs back together.
Makes no sense. Just makes no sense. But yeah, somebody said Katakuri. I'm gonna have said Katakuri, which I disagree. Katakuri, his devil fruit control wasn't that good. Like for him, really, it was all about Haki. Really.
His devil fruit control was amazing. He has an awakened devil fruit.
All right. Do you think
Perospero awakened?
We don't know. we don't know.
Exactly.
You never know. But for me, having an awakened devil fruit doesn't mean that you automatically have a good control of devil fruits. Because I feel like Luffy has one of the best controls of his devil fruit that we've seen in the whole series. with like his gears, gear second, gear third, gear fourth, all the gear 4 forms, the various forms and whatnot. I feel like he like utility and it's just his overall control of his devil fruit is just too much. But him not having awakening, is that negative for me? I don't think so.
I think after perfecting your devil fruit, awakening is the next step. Just sounds logical to me.
I don't know. For me, awakening's more so a thing like understanding like the nature of your devil fruit, not even like being able to like fully use it, just understanding your nature, understanding the nature of it. Because we saw the Minotaurs and the Centaurs and whatnot from like Impel Down have awakened Zoans, and I would not say that they had good devil fruit control compared to something like Lucci.
He's a Zoan. What can he do?
Look at Lucci, look at Chopper. They've got good devil fruit control, but they don't have awakening.
Yeah, but I think in Chopper's case, his Rumble Balls basically force his awakening. Like he can use his awakening for a limited time with his Rumble Ball.
He doesn't need the Rumble Ball anymore, though. So is his post time skip? His post time skip just being able to change forms.
He does need it for the
monster
form.
Yeah. Yep, but that's really the only form. Like So
and the monster form that looks exactly like the awakened Zoan users in Impel Down.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They skipped leg day and
well, that's One Piece for you. Everyone's
very tall upper body.
just look at Elizabello. Like he's got like hands and then his legs are just non-existent, or even Kuma, just no legs whatsoever. But I don't know. Overall, Whole Cake Island, like now that we've discussed, just like just in general, there was just so much to it. Like it was just like just them entering, and then you have the whole Sanji backstory, Big Man backstory, Curry fight, Cracker fight, the tea party, and you had like the second part after the tea party, and there was just so much to the whole arc, but it still felt a little bit dragged out. I feel like, especially the chase sequence. So, is that a pacing issue or is that just an arc issue?
Is it an issue?
Is it not? Because even you said that you thought like the chase sequence went on for a bit too long.
Yeah, a bit. It could have been a bit shorter, but I don't think it was really that much of a problem. I think if you read it in a volume, it's really good.
Okay.
On a week per week basis, maybe it's too slow.
Okay. Interesting. For me, it was just too long. Now I've not reread the arc. I have not reread the arc, especially not the chase sequence and whatnot. But I still feel like it was almost just too slow. Like I really do. I really just feel like it almost felt like it was 30 chapters long when it could have been 10 chapters. Now, I don't know how long it actually was, but it just felt that way. Now, the consequences of Whole Cake Island. 1.5 billion. Morgans. just hyping Luffy up. Like he managed to unify the Germa 66, the Fishman Pirates, and the Fire Tank Pirates with a strategy. With a strategy, they all followed his will. To me, the guy just made Luffy the 5th Emperor just by lies. Do you think? All right, first of all, do you agree with his bounty? First of all, and do you think that he should be labeled as the 5th Emperor?
From a story perspective, like from a writing perspective, yes. Because this puts a lot more pressure on Luffy. And I think this is what we need right now for Wano and ongoing arcs.
Okay.
But maybe in the One Piece verse itself, like not from a writing perspective, it's a bit too much. But well, it's fake news.
Exactly. Hashtag fake news as always, not just in real life, but also in One Piece. It's a problem that's everywhere. The fifth emperor aspect, and now him going to Wano. No, just no. No, just just straight up. He does not deserve it. Like he fought
We will
against
finally
Katakuri.
see two emperors clash.
Yeah, if we saw a clash between Luffy and Kaido, will the sky split like they did for Whitebeard and Shanks? No. No. If Luffy and Kaido clash, Luffy would get absolutely one-shot. Not one-shot, but he would get...
And that's where Tankman comes in. There.
Will Tankman even be enough? That's the thing. Will Tankman even... you think Kaido, like, charging an attack and, like, Luffy going Tankman, do you think that Kaido, his hand would get stuck, or do you think he would just absolutely get past Tankman? I feel he would just absolutely smash past Tankman. There would be no competition.
Yeah, I don't think Luffy has any chance against Kaido right now.
Straight up,
it has to be a collective effort to beat him.
Yeah. Even this, I feel like Big Mom, in terms of strength, in terms of the Yonko strength, I feel like she's definitely the weakest. But that's just because the other ones have either so much hype or so much story behind them. So like Blackbeard, for example, he just has so much importance to the story. You know, Shanks also so much importance to the story. And
but I think right now Blackbeard is the weakest because he has his devil fruits, or his one devil fruit, the Gura Gura, for only 2 years now. He hasn't mastered it yet, I think. And I think the other emperors are a bit above him still.
You see, that all, for me, that all really depends on how long the story is going to last. Because I feel like there's going to be whole cake. Like if there's going to be a time skip or not. Because if there's a time skip, then I would agree with you. I would say he's the weakest Yonko of all of them. But I don't see there being a massive time skip. And I don't see like Blackbeard just like suddenly coming from being the weakest to being the strongest within, say, 5 months. If that makes sense.
I would like to see another time skip.
You think there's going to be another one?
I would like to see it. I don't know if there will be one. Maybe, like, it's 50-50 for me.
Okay. But I don't think there will be one.
With a beard.
I don't think there will be one. I'll be totally honest. Because if there's a time skip, I feel like there has to be one, but I feel like there won't be one. I feel like after they find the One Piece, that's when there's going to be a time skip.
The thing is, all these people in their primes in One Piece are like in their 30s or 40s and not 20 or 19.
Yeah. And for me, like the one big reason why I think there's going to be a time skip, but that's the only reason why I think there's going to be one, is that I feel like all the Straw Hats need to know how to use Haki. For me, it's always been this way. Zoro, Sanji, Luffy will know all 3 forms of Haki: Conqueror, Armament, and Observation. Then you have like the second group of people, which is like Brooke, Robin, Frankie, and Jim, maybe he isn't dead, who will know Observation and Armament. And then you have like the quote-unquote weakling trio. So that's like Usopp, Nami, and Chopper, who all know 1 form of Haki. So for me, just from that aspect, considering Luffy said to Shanks, our crew, like I will get a crew that will surpass yours. So just from that standpoint, I feel like they almost need to have Haki.
Yeah.
But I just can't see a time skip. I feel like if there's a time skip, the Straws would be like Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji would just be too strong.
But do you think anyone on Shanks' crew has Conqueror's Haki?
Ben Beckman, maybe.
I think he's probably very strong in Observation Haki and Armament too, but I don't know, Conqueror's? He doesn't seem like it.
I don't know. Because Conquerors is one of those things I didn't think Katakuri would have Conquerors, and then he did. So like, Conquerors, because usually you'd say, oh, if you want to get Conquerors, you need to have you need to have ambition to be the best or whatever. But Karakuri, his ambition was just to protect his family, not to be the best or anything, and he still had it.
Yeah, well, he's Big Mom's son.
But the Shanks pirates are, as far as that's obviously just fan theories and fan speculations. But the fan theories and the fans are saying, oh, the Shanks who has the most, they're all haki monsters. They don't have devil fruits and whatnot. And if that's the case, you'd expect them to have Conqueror's haki as well. I feel like.
Yeah, I think among the Straw Hats, I think Zoro will have Conqueror's haki.
Yep.
Since he's kind of the same as Rayleigh in Roger's crew.
Yeah.
But I'm not that sure about Sanji.
Okay, fair enough. Here's a question that Amroth asked previously that I feel like is a good question to ask. How do you think Katakuri would do against Kaido? Because we saw his observation haki and his overall capabilities. Now, we both agreed that Katakuri is probably stronger than Luffy at this point, despite Luffy winning. So how would he do against Kaido?
Well, that depends on how good Kaido's observation haki is and how his speed is. I think Kaido is probably the strongest armament haki user in the One Piece world.
Yeah.
But can he actually hit Katakuri?
Okay.
Katakuri will be able to stall him for a long time, but maybe not hurt Kaido.
Okay.
And that's probably then Katakuri will run out of stamina and Kaido would probably beat him.
Interesting. Okay, I actually agree with you. For the most part, actually, I should say, because I feel Kaido has the strongest armament haki. I think for me, that's almost confirmed. His whole invulnerability for me is very similar to Big Mom, where like their armament haki is so strong that they have like an invisible wall around him. And I feel for me personally, like Kaido's armament haki is that strong that like even other people like on such a high level can't touch him. That's where his invulnerability comes from, and that's why he can't die. But I feel like Katakuri, he's got a lot of good moves, a lot of very effective moves. He's an armament haki monster as well, considering that he's got a stronger armament haki form than Luffy's Gear 4th. But I still can't see him do anything at all besides stall for time.
He can stall.
The second his observation haki runs out, he's dead. Kaido one hit kills him. I feel like
I don't think one hit, but yeah, he will lose.
A lot of people say Nami can't. Nick just said Nami can't grow anymore. I don't think he meant as a character though. Rather than having another Cake Island type of arc, I would prefer a time skip to the last arc. To the last arc. Wow. Bugby really doesn't like the post time skip. The whole crew having haki is unrealistic, says Brett. What do you think about that aspect?
I don't think it's unrealistic. Like everyone has the capability to learn haki, at least armament and observation. So I think it's just natural for them to have at least one form of haki at the end of the series.
I actually thought, for me, seeing Usopp learn observation haki in Dressrosa, I thought the formula how the story is going to go forward was like each straw is going to there's always going to in every single arc there's going to be one straw hat learning haki. I thought that's how they're going to go forward with like the arcs, I guess. So I thought Brook learning haki in Whole Cake Island was very logical. Never happened, but that's what I thought was going to happen. But again, since that formula kind of is out the window, maybe they'll all learn it in Wano, which would be something. Because Wano, I don't know, Wano is shaping up to be like the war arc.
Yeah, some of the Straw Hats definitely need a power up in Wano. Like we got some now with Nami and Sanji, but the other ones they still need a power up.
Yeah. I was just about to say, do you think Nami has grown too powerful? Do you think she still needs a power-up?
She might be OP now.
Anyone but Luffy should run. He's on that Ender level right now with Zeus.
Yeah.
Which is just insane. I hope Shanks kills half of Luffy's crew and says, I'm a pirate after all, and we are enemy now, Luffy. Wow. Better question, how would Katakuri do against Big Mom, since we know Big Mom's capabilities?
I think it's about the same as against Kaido.
Yep. I just agree with you on that one. I feel like Big Mom is one of the worst characters Oda has created. Wow. Wow. How many great question by Amrath. How many Yonkers would Akainu put a hole in? Would Akainu beat a Yonko one-on-one? I think that's a topic that recently was made by King of Lightning.
Well, we know that a Yonko, or let's say an Emperor, since they are not 4 anymore, they are not really based on, like, the level is not even. There are weaker ones and stronger ones.
Yeah.
And Akainu is probably, I guess you could say, Yonko level, but I don't think he can win against any of them. Like, let's say he has a 40% chance to beat a Yonko.
Boo! Boo! Kaido beats everyone except Kaido, in my opinion.
You're wrong.
Kaido has the feat of, one-on-one always bet on Kaido. Just from that standpoint, okay, I'm giving Kaido the win. But with anyone else that Kaido beats, to me, he has the most destructive Devil Fruit power, the most killing one. Touches you, it's like Aokiji, touches you once with his Devil Fruit and you're basically done for.
Nah, Doflamingo wasn't done for.
Okay, Doflamingo, alright. Alright, okay, Akainu has the most destructive Devil Fruit power in the show. Blackbeard had to run. Blackbeard took on Whitebeard. He was like, yeah, Whitebeard, I'm here for you, bro. I'm about to take you on.
Whitebeard was already dying.
When he saw Akainu, he ran. He ran as fast as he could. With his whole crew, Akainu was just one person just on the ship like, yo, Blackbeard, where are you at, bro? Where are you at? And Blackbeard just ran. Same as Shanks. So I feel like Akainu takes on everyone. He takes on everyone. He destroys everyone in the show except Kaido. Which I guess brings us back to Big Mom, another emperor. Because she has been an emperor. We find out a lot of things in this arc. She has been an emperor for such a long time. He was there when Roger was there. And Marlin's mentioned that in the latest chapter that she has been an emperor. Her position has been unwavering for decades. So we know she's been an emperor for a long time. Do you feel like the Straw Hats, the way they just walked into Whole Cake Island, we're like, yo, how you guys doing? We're the Straw Hat Pirates and we're going to get Sanji back. So, how you guys doing? And then they managed to get Sanji back, destroy so much chaos, took out Cracker, took out Katakuri, not even with their main force. Like, only 4 or 5 Straw Hats came, and they still managed to create such a havoc. Do you think that is almost disrespectful to a Yonko? Or do you think that the Straw Hats should have been able to do all that, or do you think they got just massively lucky?
Well, they were definitely very lucky. They shouldn't have been able to do that. But I think it's also time for, at least for Big Mom, that her Yonko position ceases to be. Like, I think at the end of the series, the current Yonko won't exist anymore.
Okay.
Except Blackbeard, probably.
All right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and like the Yonko will all be replaced by new ones.
Supernovas? Worst generation?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I think the supernovas have to do something to go against Luffy. Like, Luffy is now an emperor. The other ones, they are kind of, yeah, we are supernovas.
I can't wait until next chapter. I bet next chapter we're gonna get like a panel of like all the supernovas reading the newspaper. Like, what? How is it your fifth emperor? How?
Nani?
So I just can't wait for that. Here's a question then. In terms of supernovas, now there are 11. I don't want you to rank them all, but where would you rank Capone after this arc?
Oof.
Did he go up for you, or did he go down, or did he just stay neutral?
I think he just stayed the same.
Okay.
His big father form is really cool.
Okay.
That was impressive. But he didn't show any signs of haki or any feats at all.
Yeah. My biggest thing was that his offensive abilities are just non-existent. Like, he's just pretty much a tank. 100% tank, and nothing offensive. Like, I don't even know if he could beat somebody like Snack. Probably not. He could probably outlast Snack, defend against Snack, but could he beat him? I don't think so. Yeah, but I don't know. For me, he went up the side. He went from somebody that I was like, whatever, to somebody I was like, you know what, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, one aspect that we haven't talked about, which is probably, I don't want to say the most important aspect of the arc, but certainly one of the most important aspects of the arcs is what this arc leads to, almost. Like, what this arc, the implications of this arc, what you think is going to happen in the future. Now, obviously, we've got Luffy being the 5th Emperor, 1.5 billion bounty. You obviously have a theory about Wano with Prometheus, I think it was. But like, what do you think like is going to happen from here on out, pretty much?
I think we'll get a few chapters of Reverie, but I can't see it going on for too long since the Straw Hats aren't there. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that the Straw Hats will be there.
Okay.
Maybe Kaido will come to the Reverie and the Straw Hats will do their thing in Wano while Kaido is absent. Mm-hmm. So they can actually do something without Kaido being there. And yeah, I have no idea how Wano will play out.
Shirahoshi for me is the big question mark, because Kaido obviously knows that she is the ancient weapon based on the cover story where Caribou was captured by Drake, so he should know. So the question is he going to be interested? I don't know.
I guess so.
You'd figure it, but I don't know. Then you've obviously got Big Mom, who basically swore that she would take vengeance. Is she gonna go to Wano? I don't know.
Yeah, Big Mom will come back, but the question is when. If it's going to be on Wano or it's on Elbaf.
Okay.
I think both is a possibility.
Okay. This arc is just like so many questions. Usually in arc, there's so many answers, but this arc, I feel like, just gave you more. It was very reminiscent to like the Katakuri fight. Whereas a fight usually answers all the questions that you have, but this one just asked more. And this arc just asked more questions right now.
Yeah, we got a lot of answers, but every answer raised 2 more questions.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't know. This arc as a whole, back to the topic of the thing. Obviously, it's your second favorite arc. But what do you think the arc is as a whole in terms of? I need to be careful with how I word this right now, but how would you rate the arc as a whole based on the characters? Not so much the arc itself, but based more so on the characters themselves, the characters and the way they interacted with other characters, or the characters how they were developed. Pudding, for example, you know, a lot of people start to like her, then hated her, then liked her, now hated her. Some still like her, some hate her. She's one of those characters that people either love or hate. There's a lot of characters like that in this arc specifically that people either hate and then loved, or loved and then hate. Do you think this arc, just from a character standpoint, was a good one or a bad one?
Yeah, I think it was a good one. That's probably also the main reason why I like the arc so much.
Okay.
but mostly due to Big Mom and Katakuri.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Because I feel like
Pudding was, I don't know, I didn't really care much about her, but I think she was fine. I didn't have that many problems with her, like a few other people. Some people really seem to hate her.
yeah.
And yeah, the Windsmokes were just, yeah, well, whatever to me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I think also all the Big Mom pirates were interesting because we saw so many different powers, just random powers of all the children of Big Mom.
Yep.
I think that was really cool to see.
So, do you think in a potential future class with the Big Mom pirates, it's gonna be like a whole Big Mom family versus like the Straw Hat Pirates, or do you think it's just gonna be Big Mom and like say Smoothie, Katakuri, and Cracker and Snack, and sort of like the upper tier versus like some of the Straw Hats in the upper tier, or do you think it's gonna be everything?
Probably the upper tier, because I don't see the Big Mom pirates, like all of them, leave Whole Cake Island or Totland.
Okay.
I think they need at least a few people there to protect their homeland.
Here's an interesting thing. What's her name now? Brûlée. That's her name. Brûlée saw the Straw Hats have the copy of the poneglyph, of the road poneglyph. If she tells that to Big Mom, do you think Big Mom would launch a full-scale war right there with every single one and bring them all to Wano, for example?
The question is, does she tell her? Or
yeah, that's a good
did
question.
she already? maybe she fears that Big Mom will kill her if she tells her.
See, I'd say she shouldn't kill her because, quite frankly, Big Mom was there when Brooke stole the poneglyph. So it's really up on Big Mom's. It's really her fault, but it's Big Mom we're talking about, and she would definitely kill Brûlée.
She isn't reasonable.
Exactly. She is a child, pretty much. A child with the power of a yonko. There's a lot of... Actually, yeah, I found it. Yeah, Amrath asked the question, do you think the Big Mom Pirates would do a better job in Marineford than the Whitebeard Pirates did?
King of Lightning did a discussion about that, I think.
I think so, yeah. And I think his answer was yes as well. I
agree.
Yeah, same here. Unless Big Mom is hungry. If she gets nerfed to that point, it's over. A Whitebeard and Haikyuu would just one-shot her.
Wado with a cake and destroy that cake.
It's over. It's over. The arc would end right there and then. But yeah, I do feel like they would have a much better, especially with how many, like Big Mom Pirates, right? If we actually take all the people in Whole Cake Island, they are just dangerous. There's so many people that, a lot of them are upper tier, but a lot of them are just mid tier. You have the likes of like Bobbin, for example. Then you have like the likes of like a Viscount Chick or Baron Tamago. Like a lot of like these mid tier characters. But all these mid-tier characters would know haki, just so much different things that for me, if they all were to go to Wano, they would have no chance. There's just the Marines. Sorry, not Wano. The Marineford. Marines would have no chance.
Yeah, the devil fruit powers of all the children of Big Mom, like when you combine all of them on the same battlefield, it's just insane.
Yep. I don't know. Yeah, that's yeah. I agree with you. Like the Whitebeard Pirates were good. Marco was good. Vista was good. Whitebeard was good. Jozu was not good.
Jozu didn't do anything.
Doflamingo stopped like, yep, stop, and that's it. And that was it. So that's really all there is for the Whitebeard Pirates. Like, the thing would just have such a much better job. Like I could not imagine somebody like Doflamingo just like stop somebody like Cracker or someone like Katakuri, just like nah, just that. I could not see that happening.
Cracker maybe because he's stupid.
You really don't like Cracker.
I think he was funny, but like realistically, he was just an idiot.
His final act, that was very idiotic, but I didn't think he was an idiot overall. But I think to finish this thing up, unless you've got anything else to talk about, how could this arc have been any better for you, or how would this arc have been worse for you?
It could have been better if Stassi actually did something.
Okay.
I think she hasn't done enough. She was introduced as CP0, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really hoped that she would destroy the cake or make a Buster Call or just anything.
Buster Call
that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end, the arc ended really, really good. I think it was very good how it was. What could have made it worse? I don't know. Well, if you take out all the great things like Katakuri, obviously it will get worse.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, do you think this arc was a good arc, bad arc, terrible arc? I mean, you pretty much answered that already, but still.
Yeah, favorite arc.
Yeah. I guess to link this to something else, then, do you agree with like the general criticisms that this arc gets, where like a lot of like the danger almost was just non-existence because like there was a danger, then it was resolved the next arc, and then it was like a danger just for a cliffhanger, which was resolved immediately in the next chapter, and there was just like a lot of fake danger almost.
Yeah, it could have been better maybe, but okay. I think it aided Big Mom's personality or just her status as a Yonko. All these cliffhangers, like in the chase, all these Big Mom panels were just awesome when he was screaming wedding cake.
About good 20 chapters or so.
Yeah. Like, you can't just get rid of Big Mom. That was, I think, the point.
Yeah.
Even if she's in that state.
That's a fair point. I'll give you that one, yeah. But yeah, overall, besides the one big negative for me, which is the handcuffs and the Zeph thing, I thought overall the arc was very good. I thought a lot of people criticized it unharshly, and I feel like it was actually one of the better arcs of the series. Although I also feel like there's some things that could have been much better. I feel like the Katakuri fight could have flowed much better, especially like the first part of the Katakuri fight with like the end part of it. I feel like if there was just a better flow in the middle part, it would have been like one of the best fights, periods. It's still my favorite fight of the whole series. But I feel like that was a case, like that was an issue for like a majority of the arc. I feel like just a lot of like the flowing issues where like we would get like 10 chapters on like one character or one group of things, and then we'd get like 10 chapters of like a second group of things. And I feel like I would have probably preferred it if we got like, one chapter here, then one chapter there, like going back and forth instead of just staying with one thing, then switching to another thing, and then switching to a third thing in total. Overall, for me, I don't know where it ranks in my favorite arcs, because that all depends whether Enies Lobby and Water 7 is one arc or not. If it is, then Enies Lobby Water 7 is number 1. Marineford would probably be number 2. And from there on, it just always depends on my mood. So right now, my mood, I would say Sabaody, number 3. Return to Sabaody, number 4. And then I'd probably have Whole Cake Island as number 5. So that would be my top 5 arcs, at least right now, which will probably change by tomorrow. But worst arc in One Piece. Pizza Man asked worst arc.
Long Ring, Long Land.
What?
Long Ring, Long Land.
Okay, you can't use that one because that one it's almost a filler arc.
Pirate Village.
Okay. What's the worst? Okay. Long ring and long hand. I know I said you can't use that, but I can't think of anything else. Well, yeah, the buggy arc, I guess. But yeah, any concluding marks? I don't know how we could finish. I think we've pretty much touched on everything of this arc, unless you've got anything in mind.
Okay, Pizzaman said, except for the Long Ring Long Land arc. Then it's Syrup Village, I think. Usopp's Island.
Okay. Nick says Little Garden. Amrith says Sky Island, which is obviously your favorite arc, I think. No, it's your third favorite arc.
Third favorite, yeah.
I would probably go with Bogdy says Zoe, which I absolutely disagree with. I loved Zoe.
Zoe is top 5.
Yeah, Zoe is definitely one of my favorite arcs. I feel like, except for Long Ring Long Island, I would probably go with. You know what? I'll go with Little Garden. I'll go with your choice, Nick. I'll go with Little Garden. Just because I feel like there was every other arc almost had like a very good, not just a very good villain, but like a very good backstory.
But Little Garden introduced giants.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me, like a One Piece is at its best when it has like good flashbacks. And there was no real good flashback. I mean, the whole war was like one page. Like, yeah, who caught the bigger fish? That's it. That's not a flashback. Like even Katakuri's flashback that we just got introduced to like 2 chapters ago was bad. that was actually a good flashback. Whereas the giants, well, so who caught the bigger fish? Let's battle for 150 years, just out of nowhere. So yeah. It's just probably Little Garden. In terms of post time, I mean that's to be expected. But I guess I'll end it with well, unless you've got anything to say, or if you want to just go through some comments. But in terms of post time skip arcs, what are you more hyped for, Reverie or Wano?
Reverie, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love myself some good fights, and Kaido is epic, right? And I know Wano will be the fight arc, but with Reverie, there's just too much information that can be revealed.
Yeah, that's the best part of One Piece.
Yep, absolutely. Which is why I actually figured out your favorite arc would be Water 7/Enies Lobby, with just like the whole Poneglyph, or even Zoe with the whole, poneglyphs, the whole Zunisha and all that. So I figured those would have been your 2 favorite arcs.
Yeah, Zoe's in my top 5, so that's that. But I think Water 7, Enies Lobby, they just dragged too long and the fights weren't that interesting.
that hurts. That hurts. Wano, because Zoro surely needs character development. He's a friggin' vice captain. I don't know.
Zoro lacks character development.
That's my issue with him post time skip. Pre time skip, he was a good character pre time skip, But now post time skip, like all he does is like just like one shot someone and gives an epic line like, "Oh, did you think that a wild beast wouldn't attack you?" And that's it. And that's all he does this post time skip. One shot someone. One shots Pika. You're just a little frog in a giant. You're just a tiny frog living in your own little well. And it's like, can you do something besides being epic and cool? I want to see you struggle. Zoro needs development. I just hope it's not a Sanji type of deconstruction development. That's kind of harsh. But I don't think that
Sanji's character revolves around food, and Zoro's character revolves around fighting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Here's a question: who's stronger, the stairs, Kaido, or Pell.
Didn't you see that picture I posted on Discord? Like, the stairs are a poneglyph, but I think that poneglyph was later known as Kaido.
Interesting. Poneglyph theory. That's a good point. Indestructible. That's why because it mostly assured that the character development will be there. I don't think there's enough time to develop characters in Wano. There's too many people in Wano. That leads to the question of Wano, will it be Supernova versus Kaido pretty much?
Yeah.
Because that's what everyone expects. Like everyone's hoping for like, the 7 Supernovas versus Kaido.
I just don't know how Bonnie will end up there. Like, everyone has a reason to be there except Bonnie, I think. Or does she?
Not that I'm aware of, no. But then again, my theory, which I never made a theory, I never made the actual video, but my theory was that Bonnie was a revolutionary, and that Luffy's mother is Makino, and Luffy now has a little brother, because Makino obviously had a little child, and that Bonnie de-aged Makino just so that so her affiliation with Dragon wouldn't be found out. And the reason for that was
Makino way too young to be.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, Bonnie made her younger.
Ah, okay.
So like so that her affiliation with the revolutionaries wouldn't be found out. And there was a few references in real life, to real life pirates that I was like, yeah, maybe. Like the whole Anne Bonny being a pirate. Obviously, Ace, the quote unquote brother of Luffy. Obviously not a real brother, but the quote unquote brother. His mother saying, if it's a girl, his name will be Anne. If it's a boy, it's Ace, whatever. And then obviously it was being a boy. So that's just my theory. That's just my random, strange theory that Bonnie is part of the revolutionaries, a daughter of Roger, and that's that. that's it. Yeah, I know. Best theory ever. Bonnie will be there versus Akainu. She hates him after all.
When do you think will we actually find out about Luffy's mother?
If we find out, the question is if we find out. Dragon him being Luffy's father is like, so what? Like, he doesn't care about Luffy at all. Luffy doesn't care about him. So I feel like there's no point of like the mother being introduced, considering that nobody cares. He doesn't even care about his own father, if that makes sense. Usually you have like these shonen protagonists like, mother, father, I love you. It's been such a long time. But Luffy's just like, Dragon? Who's that? I've never heard of him. Oh, wait. Oh, my father. All right. Okay, cool. I have a father? All right, cool. All right, cool story, bro. And Dragon is the same. Dragon's just like, is that Robin? Oh, that's cool. That's a cool newspaper. Is that Robin on the newspaper? Awesome. Oh, wait, that's Luffy. Oh, who cares? Who cares? So, yeah, just straight up. Unless we get a Dragon flashback incoming, as Amrov says. Reverie, Dragon flashback, maybe a past with Akainu or something. That would be interesting, I feel like. I don't know.
Yeah, everyone is waiting for a Dragon flashback. And I want one too.
Former Admiral Akainu. What's Dragon? Akaryu. There you go. Flashback. No need for a flashback anymore. I've already solved it. He was the admiral before Akainu, and he was called Akaryu. There you go. The
if he was in the Marines would know more about him.
Unless they try to keep it a secret about him, about everything about him, because he was just just too strong or something. And so if they knew someone like that deserted them, then I can't say that considering Aokiji. They know about Aokiji, so I can't even say that. Nope.
Your argument is invalid.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Any closing thoughts, or was that it? Whole Cake Island overall, we both really enjoyed. You more than me. It's your favorite. It's your second favorite. Mine, at this point in time, fifth favorite. But any closing thoughts at all, or shall we end it?
Great arc.
Great arc. There you go. There's the answer to the question. It was a great arc. Whole Cake Island was a cool arc. Dragon was maybe a CP0 member.
That would make more sense than Marine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And CP0 has more connection to the Tenryuito.
Here's a question. Do you think Dragon is still a CP0 member? And he's creating this like false force leading the revolutionaries. Just like, see, okay, let's find out all the people that are against us, all the people that want to take down the government, and he's like pretending to lead them, just like bring them all to the slaughter. If you remember, Blackbeard was about to attack Akainu, and then CP0 showed out of nowhere. Sorry, Blackbeard was about to attack a Dragon, and then CP0 showed out of nowhere. Like, oh, yeah, okay, we found Dragon. Do you think that was just a bit too coincidental?
The question is, yeah, how did CP0 get there? Like, how did they know where Baltigo is? I think that's a good point.
You just raised a good point, Saddam the Goat. Good thing. Dragon was maybe a CP0 member. He's still a ZP0 member. I'm gonna see Dragon and like Lucci versus like the first time we actually saw Dragon really mentioned was after Eni's lobby. Just saying. Just saying. That's when Garp gave us all the information. That's when Dragon saw Luffy's bounty and was like, you know what? The day we meet will soon come. I don't know. Maybe. Food for thought. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen of the internets. I think we are finished. I think we are done here. And I think that was all there was to the question of, was Whole Cake Island a great arc? Yeah, I honestly can't think of anything we haven't mentioned, anything we haven't talked about. And I feel that might be the end. Is there anything you've got left to say, somebody? If not, I think...
No, I think we can end.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys, or I don't know when, if... You think a lot, Prince. I do think a lot. I'm the thinker. I've got a beard. Well, once you stroke that beard, you're a thinker. That's just the way. Exactly. There you go, somebody. Stroke that beard, and you're a thinker. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys next time. And until then, everyone, peace out and have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.